And welcome back to Hero Power, episode 24. I am your host, Avantes, and as always, I am joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Versika.
What's up, guys? Hey, guys.
So, another week, and we have another special mention of our great partner, VaForce. What do you got for us, Versika?
All right, so we're actually starting the show out with a bang. We have an exciting announcement from VaForce, and this is really cool. I'm super stoked about this. So, as part of our partnership with them, they've kind of gone and done something a little bit special, kind of inspired by us, if you want to say so. So what they've decided to do is they've got a new budget model computer that they're bringing out. This is sort of like a computer it's sort of like an entry into the world of gaming computers. So it's a step up from what you would just buy out in the store. So it's called the VaForce Element. It's going to start out at $450 a unit before options. You can always upgrade certain parts about it. It's not on the website yet, I don't believe. So they're just getting ready to launch it. But here's the cool part. For the next 4 weeks, if you go to their website through the link on our website, that's heropowerhs.com, click on the link, go to VaForce's website, do a custom order, and then in the notes section, mention, or actually type, use my hero power. They're going to give you $25 off the element. So you'd be able to get it for $425. Special order for the element. Now, for the next 4 weeks, they're also going to give you a special price on the others as well. So let's say that you wanted the Vector. Down in the notes section, if you type, use my hero power, they're going to give you $35 off the Vector. Same with the momentum and impulse. If you type, use my hero power in the notes section, if you want to buy the momentum or the impulse, they're going to give you $50 off the momentum or the impulse. So for the next 4 weeks, so 4 weeks from today, 4/13/2016, go to their website, order one of these machines. You can do the element, the vector, the momentum, or the impulse. Type use my hero power in the notes section, and you'll get a special price. You'll get from $25 to $50 off, depending on which model you're going to get. And I think this is awesome. I'm pretty excited about it. So, I mean, if you're just looking to getting into gaming, or like I know a lot of people that just play Hearthstone on their phone, so this is the perfect chance for you to get in. The base model element would play Hearthstone great. You could probably Hearthstone in stream. So if you kind of wanted to stream, don't have the money to go out and buy a big gaming rig, the element would be perfect to get you started.
And it has been confirmed that it meets minimum specs for League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm. So
right.
that also, it's not just a simple desktop PC.
Machine.
This is a gaming PC. It's just your bottom end if you're just getting into gaming, or you have a family or loved one like maybe a teenager has been doing really good on homework, and you'd like to get them a nice gaming machine for their birthday or for graduation gift. This would be a great cost-effective way to do that.
Absolutely. Or if you're a console gamer and you're looking to get into PC gaming, this is a great entryway in. It's upgradable, so I think it's awesome. $450 for a beginner gaming machine. I would have loved to have had that when I started out.
Oh yeah.
I think I probably spent $450, $500 on just the base model, and then had to go and upgrade everything.
Yep. Yep. It's almost impossible to find even a bottom end gaming PC, and this is definitely a little bit above that. That's great.
Right, and if you use your hero power, you get money off. You can't beat that either.
Absolutely. All right, guys. As always, we love to hear from you guys, and we got an email this week from Duck Hunter, and great username, by the way. Just want to throw that out there.
We loved your email address.
Yes, absolutely.
Love the email address.
So, subject is great show. Message states, hey guys, I wanted to email you to tell you what a great job you're doing. Congrats to Zeroshio for getting Legend. Now that he's gotten it once, is he going to try again this month? If so, is it going to be with a different deck? You want to go ahead and answer that, Zero?
Go ahead and read the rest of it. I'll answer at the end.
Okay. Uh, then it states, I love your shows and Versika's posts. If you're not sure what he's talking about, check out heropowerhs.com. Versika posts blogs all the time. I love that he doesn't hold back his opinions and still keeps it simple enough for beginners to understand. He has a great writing style that explains things in ways I don't normally think of. Everything you guys do finds a way for everyone to get something from it. The show is a gem. Please don't change a thing. Thank you, Duck Hunter. We very much appreciate it. All right, Zero, go ahead.
So I'm wearing the Bears hat, and he said, "Don't change a thing." So, sorry, guys, the Bears hat's got to stay. No, I'm really happy that I got Legend in March. I want to be Legend again. I am trying to take some steps to get maybe kind of push myself into a semi-pro level with Hearthstone. Am I going to go for Legend this month of April? Probably not. I got a little burned out. We have a few special projects going on that are taking my attention that I probably won't have the time to push for Legend. I do plan on doing it again, and likely it will be after the release of Old Gods, and so I will probably be using a different deck. Now, if I get a little tickle and decide to push at the end of this month, I probably will stick with my tried and true Paladin. If I do any pushing this month, may do some Druid. I am planning to play in a tournament here coming up, and we'll talk more about that in the news section. But I'm going to try a few decks on the ladder while I do that, and I'll probably ladder up some, but I doubt I'll get Legend.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's a really great question. It's one that I hadn't ever really thought of before. If I were to get Legend and try again the next month, would I want to do it with a different deck? I don't know. I guess I've never really even made the commitment to try and go to get Legend, but I would have never even thought to ask you if you were going to try to do it again with the same one.
Well,
that's pretty cool.
I did it. If those people that don't know, I ran up Legend primarily using aggro Paladin, changing things throughout as I went up. I'm comfortable with Paladin. It was the first legendary, first golden class I ever got. I know how Paladin runs, so I really, really probably will stick to Paladin in the future. Maybe not aggro Paladin, but some form Paladin to do a majority of my laddering. Now, that final push, I'm probably going to change my strategy a bit in the future because I just went for a number of games and kept blowing it out. I've got a better idea how to adjust now that I've done it once. And they always say getting Legend the second time is a lot easier than the first, and I'm hoping that's true.
Yeah. And thanks for reading. Thanks for reading the blog post. I enjoy writing them. I would write for a living if I could. And thanks for being politically correct when you say that I don't hold back my opinions, but keep it simple enough. I'm very opinionated. I try to keep it objective, and I try to always present the counterpoint, but I am very opinionated. So thanks for noticing.
All right. Well, we didn't have any iTunes reviews this week, so guys, please do us a favor. Go to iTunes, and if you like the show, if you don't like the show, please let us know about it. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, maybe what you'd like to see. If there's a segment where something you think you'd like to see that other people would like to see, let us know about it, and we'll discuss it and maybe talk about it. So, all right, guys, let's dive right into the news this week. So our first topic is Blizzard esports. Versika, this was something you had mentioned you wanted to discuss this week, so why don't you go ahead and lead the way?
All right, so Monday morning, I'm on my way to work, just finished watching a great Heroes of the Dorm final, really a great Heroes of the Dorm weekend, but even though Arizona State ended up winning it, spoiler, I'm sorry if you don't already know by now, you're hiding under a rock. They may have taken it 3-0, but it was still a very good 3 games, and it wasn't like I only felt like one game UTA was just outclassed. That Towers of Doom map was just incredible. But so we enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed it. I loved that it was on ESPN2. I actually couldn't even watch it on my computer because I didn't have my ISP ID. So I went in and had to watch it on the living room television.
Oh darn!
Yeah,
I did the same.
So yeah, it was on ESPN2. I was super excited about it being on ESPN2, and so I'm driving to work the next morning, and it's just call after call into our local. And I enjoy listening to our local sports radio station. I live in Knoxville. We follow the UT Volunteers pretty much year round. Okay. So it's 7-ish on my way to work, and it's call after call after call about people calling in and complaining that Heroes of the Dorm was on ESPN2, and it really aggravated me. I got to work, and I was just in a bad mood for the first half of the day. It drives me nuts because here's kind of how I qualify this. So I was explaining this to two of the guys that I work with. One of them is an avid hunter and one is an avid golfer. So I asked them what they considered sports. I was like, is it the fact that it's being called esports? Is that something that's kind of rubbing you the wrong way? Or is it the fact that it's video games on the sports channel or whatever? And they're just like, well, it doesn't seem very sporty to me. So one of my friends is a hunter, and I won't say his name just in case he doesn't want me to. He's an avid hunter and fisherman. I was like, do you consider those sports? He's like, well, yeah, it's called a sportsman's license. It's outdoor sports. I'm like, what is sporty about it? What makes that a sport? It's not athletic unless you're bow hunting, and bow hunting is kind of often its own thing. But I mean, I fish. It's not athletic. Anyone can do it. It's all hand-eye coordination and, applying tactics and so on and so forth. And so he couldn't really answer me. I was like, all right, so take away all sports that involve you putting a ball in a goal. Name me 5 athletes in track, swimming, anything that doesn't involve putting a ball in a goal. He couldn't do it. He couldn't name 5 athletes from all the other sports in the world outside of football, basketball, baseball, hockey. Couldn't do it. So I went over to Jimmy and I'm like, all right, Jimmy, you're golf. You got to take golf out of it. For you, golf doesn't. You can't use golf.
Still putting the ball in the goal.
Ask the same question. Could not do it. I even left NASCAR in. We're in the South. I left NASCAR in, which a lot of people don't consider a sport.
I couldn't name 5 NASCAR drivers.
So my point is, I think the definition of sports has changed. The reason that this isn't being accepted is because it is so different than the other things that you don't necessarily have to be athletic to do, like billiards, like darts. World Series of Poker. People had a problem with it when it first came on, but you didn't hear the call-in, it was just ugly. They were just ugly about it. And it just really, really bothered me. And I would challenge that. Anyone that says that it doesn't belong on ESPN2, challenge them to name 5 athletes from any of the sports, much less one. I would be super impressed if they could name 5 athletes from one of the Olympic teams that wasn't basketball or soccer. I'd even give them Michael Phelps. I don't think he's competing in this Olympics.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, and, it's interesting because I had a meeting today for this project we're working on with a lady, and she was asking me about our project. And I was kind of trying to figure out how to explain it to her. And I actually asked her the question, have you heard of esports? And she kind of perked up and went, yes, I have. So, it was great to see, that esports is becoming more well known on a regular basis. So, it's one of those things that's really, really coming along.
Yeah, and my challenging point would be that esports and professional gaming, they have a college level representation in TESPA. TESPA, I mean, that's like the NCAA of
Esports.
college esports. Yeah. So if the colleges are taking it this seriously, and ESPN is taking it this seriously, one thing I wanted to point out is last year we went through all this. There is a esport analyst, Colin
Coward from ESPN.
Yep.
Colin Coward, he went on a huge rant, and we're going to leave I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we have a Game Informer link we'll put in the show notes from last year that goes into detail that Colin Coward on his ESPN sponsored radio show went into great detail how he opposed esports and just gaming in general, and basically said the words that he'll quit if he's ever forced to cast something like that. And shortly after that, ESPN and Colin parted ways, and ESPN said that they want to go a different route than the way Colin sees it, and he's no longer with the company. So if ESPN is willing to put their stake into this, that means they see that it has the potential to bring fan base in, make money. Most importantly, why are sports in the United States? To make money, even in the college levels, to make money for the colleges, professional levels, to make money for the respected cities and organizations that run it. It's to make money. These esports events every year are putting out hundreds of thousands, up to millions of dollars in prize money every year, in college tuition every year. This is a sport. This is just as much a sport as poker is a sport. I've even seen on ESPN a Rochambeau tournament where they play paper, rock, scissors for prize money.
Yeah.
If that can be on ESPN, computer gaming, console gaming, there's no reason why that can't be considered. I think it's crazy. I think the mentality is that it's old school mentality. All these people that are opposed to this are of an older generation or a different lifestyle. They're not connected to technology other than just to broadcast themselves. And I think that's just not being fair.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Speaking of esports, we want to mention that if you are in the Knoxville area, if you listen to us in the greater Knoxville area even, this Saturday, there's going to be a Tavern Hero Qualifier event for Hearthstone. So if you guys have ever wanted to take the chance and play in a event that could take you to the next level in Hearthstone, you have that chance this Saturday at Level Up Games and Hobbies in Knoxville. It's located at 9315 Kingston Pike, and it's a free event. It will be conquest style, so that means you need to bring 3 decks of different classes, and you will play that. Basically, it's a best 3 out of 5. You have to win with each of your classes, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a bunch of us out there. I'm pretty sure me and Zeroshio are going to be there. Versika, are you still planning on coming?
Yeah, I'll be there, at least for a little while.
Okay, yeah. So we'll all be there. Come hang out with us. Come play. We need at least 16 people for it to be an official event. So come out and join us. It'll be a lot of fun. And
now, just a clarification, it is Conquest, 3-win Conquest. So you bring 3 decks. Yes. It is a no-band format.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I was getting ready to ask.
I already checked into that. There is no bans. You just bring 3 decks. They do need a full deck list.
And they do need to be 3 different classes.
3 different classes. That is correct.
Yes. 3 different classes, 3 decks. They need a deck list. You can type it up, or you can take a screenshot and print it off. They also accept email for those. And more details will be, if you go to their site and go to the Facebook group, all the details are there. The website is Level Up Knox, That's knox.com. It'll be in our show notes.
As well as the address on how to get there and the times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we just want to thank the guys out at Level Up for hosting this weekend.
If
Absolutely.
you're from the Knoxville area, it's on Kingston Pike near Cedar Bluff, next to the Home Depot.
Yeah.
This is one of the few qualifiers left before the spring tournament.
Spring preliminaries, yes.
Spring preliminaries tournament. So, I mean, if
This
you're
is your
within,
last chance to get in, and those spring preliminaries are in May.
yeah, it's one of your last chances. If you're within 5 hours, you're within driving distance.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, and that 5 hours from Knoxville, that's
A lot of different places. Yeah.
A lot of different places.
So come join us. Come hang out if you want to. We'll
And
have
spread
a
the
lot of fun.
word. Even if you don't want to participate, maybe someone you know that plays Hearthstone that is within driving distance does. So make sure to share this. Put it on your Twitter. Put it on your Facebook. Get it out there.
Yeah.
And you will get the Fireside Gathering card back just for coming and attending. So that's another perk of it. I don't think they went into the elimination format, whether it's going to be Swiss or not. I think they're working that out still. But details of that will be on their website and their Facebook page.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to come out. Unless you're better than me, then you can just stay home. No, just kidding. Please come on out there. To be honest, there are spring prelims coming up in May. There's going to be sometime in mid-late May. I would love for a listener of our show, a local, Tennessean or someone around southeast United States
Or yourself.
player, or myself, to represent us. I mean, I would love nothing more than that.
Absolutely.
And
At least have somebody. It's hard to get better at dancing if you're never invited to the dance.
exactly.
Get out there. Who knows? You may be the one that gets Tavern Hero and gets to go to this thing. So
That's right. Remember Snail?
yeah, he went all the
Snail was
way.
a Tavern Hero, went all the way up. Didn't quite get to
Didn't
BlizzCon, but he made it up to the qualifier.
But wasn't it Fibonacci that was a Tavern Hero that made it all the way and then couldn't come?
Now Fibonacci got it from the ladder.
Okay, there was a Tavern Hero from somewhere in Brazil that made it all the way up, qualified, and couldn't get his visa situation sorted, and then ended up somebody else came in and took his spot. Help me with the name. He went all the way to the finals.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember myself. I know that Fibonacci, he might have made it through a Tavern Hero, but he also does a lot. He ranks on the ladder high, so he could have qualified either way, I'm sure.
I don't remember who.
Either way,
Snail
this
was a
could
Tavern
be your
Hero.
way.
Yep.
This could
Yeah.
be your
Nias-
way in. So
Nias last year was a Tavern Hero.
Yep.
For last year, that BlizzCon. So I mean, it can happen.
This is the first step. This is the first step. You have to come to one of these, and you have to win, or you have to be a top performer on the ladder to get invited to the invite-only events.
yeah.
Can't get paid if you haven't played.
That's right. This is one of your only chances. If you have aspirations or you just want to see how good you really are, come out, do this event.
All right. With that said, Old Gods, BroDan is going live on April 21st.
Yes.
That's pretty fun. I'm kind of excited about that.
I'm excited about this, but this gives us a marker. Because last year they did the TGT pre-release gameplay, the same BroDan Ben Brode and Frodan got together and they played. They released cards. It was a lot of fun to watch on Twitch. I watched it myself on August the 14th, and the set released August 24th. So
I think this lends credence to that 426 mark that was accidentally leaked.
This would 421 is the the Thursday before that following Tuesday, which would be 426, which is what was released or leaked.
Yes.
Yep.
So I mean, even if it's 2 weeks from this,
it's a week from tomorrow.
This at least tells us late April is more likely than early May.
Correct.
Yeah. So we join. You can join the. It'll be on the Twitch Play Hearthstone channel at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 o'clock Eastern.
I'll be watching it at work.
I will be watching it at work, even
That's what I'm
though
watching.
I shouldn't be. But
They have us locked down so much.
Yeah, I honestly don't think I won't be able to watch it either, unfortunately.
I'll let you know how it goes. Because it also says the gods will be very disappointed if you don't make it.
They're just going to have
Don't
to be disappointed.
don't want to disappoint the old gods.
Unless they want to give me a job after they release me from mine.
No, because they may put out more Tavern Brawls like this.
Yeah, let's talk about this Tavern Brawl. So this is the first time we've seen this. It's called
kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
There was a tournament like this.
There was a tournament like, but we've never seen this in Tavern Brawl. So last year, I guess Crip ran a tournament. Criparian ran a tournament called Challenge Stone, and this Tavern Brawl kind of comes directly from that. In fact, it's called the Great Stone of Challenge. And it says, "Welcome heroes to the Great Stone of Challenge. Your deck building prowess will be tested. You may only use spells with an even cost. You may only use minions with an odd attack. Build a deck and fight for the Stone of Challenge." This Tavern Brawl for me has been a lot of fun. I've played 2 and won 2. It's really about minion value. You want to get maximum value out of your minions. So I've been running things. So I played Druid today. So I was running Skittles, the spectral spiders. I was running the Raptor, the 3/2 Raptor that when it dies drops a minion. I was running Lotheb. I was running Dr. Boom. Get those last few days in with him before standard hits and he goes away. So it's all about minion value and spells. I ran swipes. I ran Power of the Wild to buff up my minions that were on the board, and just made it really hard for my opponent to clear my board. Whenever they kill something, something else would come out. In fact, I almost ran a mid-range version of Egg Druid. Now that I think about it. Zeroshio, have you had a chance to do it yet?
Yeah, I ran kind of a modified aggro shaman. It did okay. This Tavern Brawl, I liked it. It was a little fun, but to be honest, it was like doing a Rubik's Cube if I was colorblind. I just, I didn't know what to put in there. I couldn't. It was like I match up the colors. Is this right? No. Is this right? No. Oh, you got the one side. Yes. It was frustrating on a deck building side because I just maybe it just goes against I don't like to be restricted. And this is kind of like the 7 power or more they did last week. I did want to bring up a weird point. Obviously, they've been testing out this whole restrictive deck building,
which I love.
This has been things that certain people like Noxious and Crip and stuff have been pushing. And we've seen some of these card reveals for Whispers of the Old God. I don't want to go too much into card reveals, but some of the cards that have been revealed have been really seem to be catered towards a specific streamer, like almost like they built the card. I'm wondering if at this meeting that they had with some of these streamers, they didn't actually say, "Hey, what do you want in the game? What would you like us to do?" Because this looks like Crip wrote this Tavern Brawl.
It's almost taken straight from his Challenge Stone event.
So I'm wondering if they're not getting more input from those streamers, those players, those pro players into how to build the set and build the different fun parts of the mechanics. So I'm expecting new stuff this year in 2016 that's been influenced by our famous streamers.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm excited for that. So I'm excited for what this type of Tavern Brawl will eventually become, whether it's maybe a tournament mode or something like that, because other input from other streamers have influenced it. Because we know that Brian Kibler had to influence that most recent card release of Deathwing. But we'll talk about that another show.
Yeah. Brasika?
12-0.
12-0.
Yep.
After-
In fact, I haven't actually gotten to complete a game yet because my opponents have all conceded.
I was going to say, wasn't it last week you were complaining about being 0-12 and not getting your pack for the first time?
Yep. That's about how many games I get a chance to get in. But actually ended up getting my pack because I got the dangs. I don't like the quest where you have to play the meek shall inherit.
Yeah.
I hate that quest. So every time I get it, I always cancel it. Well, I got the spells quest right afterwards. So I'm just like, well, Tavern Brawl has so many spells in it this week. I bet I can do this in just 2 matches, whether I win or not. So I ended up getting in and winning on my second time and completing the quest.
Nice.
But actually, I've ran 7 druid and 5 shaman.
Wow.
And with the druid, I have to say that my MVP has been Nerubian Weblord.
Okay.
Amazingly powerful in this Tavern
Nurse's
Brawl.
battle cries, yeah.
Yeah. Combined with Wrath, Swipe, and then your more powerful druid minions, Ancient of Lore and Ancient of War, both have odd attacks.
Okay.
So basically, all the removal is wasted by the time Ancient of Wars get out, and they just have no way to handle them. So,
See, I only won 1 game. I played 3. I lost my first. My second, I turned 1 Tunnel Trog coin into Dust Devil, and they conceded. That's my only win in this Tavern Brawl. So I was like, that was pretty good. Let me see if this deck is actually going to work. And then 3rd game, I lost again. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I got my pack.
Yeah.
So I went Dragon Shaman.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And I am undefeated with it as well.
I am
Nice.
undefeated.
I am. Yeah, how often do I say that about a Tavern Brawl? But
See,
this,
it
and this is what we say every week. Tavern Brawls are designed so that everyone, at some point, they're going to find your niche.
yeah.
And that's why it changes, is a way to bring the game to everyone at some point. Just because I don't always like a Tavern Brawl doesn't mean it's not a good Tavern Brawl. Just because you don't always like a Tavern Brawl doesn't mean it's not a good Tavern Brawl. It just means it wasn't for you. So, a lot like a lot of the cards that were released today, I'm not a fan of a tremendous amount of RNG. One of my favorite games of all time, Risk. Right? Risk. Risk is a great example of balanced strategy versus RNG. Because, I've seen 2 little peons wipe out an army before because the dice rolls weren't there. You have to balance that. And one of the things I feel like has become unbalanced in some of the newest Hearthstone stuff is the amount of RNG that they're introducing in the game. Like, I'm totally okay with the amount of RNG that comes from a Ragnaros. I'm not okay with the amount of Ragnaros. But that being said, I see the fun value in the newest Old God that was released. And I will probably craft him. And I will probably play him just so I can take a Pyroblast to the face. But I'm not going to do it in a competitive mode. And a lot of the tweets that I saw today for some of the mage cards that were released was that the stats on them were too competitive for the amount of RNG that they offered. And I have to agree.
Yes, but your opponent could take a Pyroblast to the face.
Yeah,
Yes.
Or 2.
But there's no way to strategize around that
No,
if we're
of course
trying to
not.
make an effective strategy. And that's the thing, is that I don't mind losing. I don't want to lose to a random dice roll. It's like letting a ref dictate who wins a game.
Can we go back to the Risk? Can we go back to the Risk comment for a minute?
I've never lost a game of Risk.
Because I want to talk about the mental image that just flashed through my head when you said 2 peons taking out a whole army because of a dice roll. Because I immediately pictured rolling a crit 1 and the entire opposing army falling on their bayonets.
No,
We're
actually,
nerds.
I
Nerds.
know. It's like quoting the Princess Bride. It's like, the famous misconceptions. It's like, one is never try to win a land war in Asia. That's the truth. If you've ever played Risk, you cannot hold Asia.
Yeah.
Asia is the last part of that map you take. That being said, I have held Alaska with 2 men before, after army after army after army after army, just tried to go in, and it happens. Sometimes it happens, and I'm okay with that kind of RNG. It's just the sporadic, random. I don't really have a purpose RNG that I don't really care for.
See, I love that RNG. I love that RNG,
and it has its place in Hearthstone. That place is in casual mode. It doesn't have any business in the tournament meta.
But I love putting that on the ladder and throwing people off because they don't see it coming. It's like you could throw this deck at a casino mage, and it's like going to Reno with your mortgage check, right? You know, you're either going to be homeless or you're living in a mansion. One of the two.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. I guess call me a control freak if you want to, but I don't want to pin my hopes and dreams on whether or not what I'm about to play blasts me in the face or not. But back to what kind of started all this. This Tavern Brawl is as far away from that as you can possibly get. This Tavern Brawl is about honing your deck building skills. This is what you have to work with. This is what you have to do. Realize that, because it's not just about what you're building. You have to be able to look across the Hearthstone playing mat there at the class your opponent is playing and know what their creatures are, what they could be playing. You know, if you're playing a warlock, if you're playing a mage, what are their class specific drops? What are their class specific spells? So you have to be aware and again keep track of where those spells are. Have they been played? It's a great. If you are trying to get into Hearthstone, if you're trying to increase your level of play, if you're trying to improve your level of play, this Tavern Brawl will give you great practice on keeping track of what's in your deck, what's in your opponent's deck, and practicing knowing what you're going to be facing.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you don't have to worry about Force Savage Roar, but you do have to worry about Force Power of Wild.
And I love Crow. I got to bring this up. Krovan just said if you want to last off for Russia, 2 cents per acre, totally worth it. You can say about this. History is underrated these days.
And so to answer Lucius' comment, we did talk about Tavern Hero event. It's this Saturday.
It will be in the show notes.
Yeah, it'll be in show notes.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we hope to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I know he's part of the Facebook group. I saw him on there.
Yeah,
and it will be in Facebook. We will blast it all over Facebook. We'll blast it all over Twitter. So if you aren't following us on Twitter, if you aren't in the Facebook group, patrons have their own Facebook page with us. We'll get to that later.
Oh, and real quick, because I don't think we mentioned it, that Tavern Hero event, it is confirmed as a Tavern Hero event. There was a little bit of speculation on their site whether it wasn't going to be a Tavern Hero or it's just going to be a fireside gathering. Avani's picked up the ball. He went over there, made some phone calls, and confirmed that it is a Tavern Hero event. If they have at least 16 participants, the winner qualifies for the spring preliminary in May.
That's the ticket. 16 participants, so you got to get people there.
Yep, absolutely. So
okay, so moving on before we spend all of our time talking today, because I could really talk about most of this stuff.
Moving on. So this week we have something a little special for you guys from our listener AC. You guys know AC. He was on the show last week, and he is the guy that does our eulogies for us. This week we don't really have a eulogy to a card that's going away. We have a rant to a card that's coming.
So we're changing gears on you a little bit.
Yeah, this should be interesting. All right, guys, here we go.
Dear mourners, tonight I do not eulogize a minion we are losing to standard, nor a spell, nor even a weapon. I mourn no Hearthstone card at all, my friends. And yet, one dear to me has been dealt a fatal blow, and by Blizzard and its old God's expansion that brings standard format. Yes, my friends, from the moment my wide-fearing eyes laid sight on Yogg-Saron, hope's end, I did indeed lose hope. For the whispers of the old gods have killed the rules of English grammar. I have nearly lost hope in our system of education. For you see, my friends, my problem with Yogg is not that he's a bad/fun legendary. After all, Blizzard also gave us Millhouse, Major Domo, and Mixna, and that's just the M's. No, my problem is that for the effect Blizzard says Yogg-Saron has, their chosen grammar is entirely wrong. Allow me to explain. The verb cast in the text is in the imperative form, also known as command form. In English, the subject of these sort of imperative sentences is an implied you. In other words, as constructed, the sentence actually says, you cast a random spell for each spell you've cast this game. However, Blizzard has said that it will not be you, as the hero, doing the spell casting, but Yogg-Saron itself, and therefore there will be no synergy with Mana Worm, with Flamewake, or with Uncle Tony. I'm not complaining about the effect exactly, so please do not misunderstand, but the grammar is wrong. The other issue is in subject-verb agreement. In English, verbs must match with their subject. As written, the verb cast is correct if the understood you is what's intended. You cast. However, again, Team 5 has said that it is Yogg-Saron doing the casting with the battle cry, not you. In that case, the verb must be changed to match the subject of the sentence, Yogg-Saron. It would have to be Yogg-Saron Cass. Fortunately, the fix is quite easy. The sentence in the card text just needs to change to Yogg-Saron casts a random spell for each spell you've cast this game. There's also some issues with parallelism, but it gets rather esoteric and we can skip it. My friends, I have faith. I have faith that Blizzard will fix this grievous error and correct the text. I have faith that we will not see another minion with such an error in grammar. I have faith that... What? Say that again, Sven. Just now on Trump's YouTube. No. I tremble to read it, but yes. And it here. Servant of Yogg-Saron. Battle cry. Cast a random spell that costs 5 or less. Targets chosen randomly. And this doesn't trigger from the hero either. And it should be Servant of Yogg-Saron Cass! Why is this so hard? You might as well be actually killing me, Blizzard.
Oh, Blizzard.
Or AC. He's getting over the deaths of so many mechs and now the death of English.
Yeah, I mean...
Proper English. Of course, I live in the South, so I'm used to people butchering English all the time.
Yeah, shouldn't it be y'all cast?
not Yogg's cast.
That's
y'all
what we do every
cast.
Wednesday night. Dylan's doing that podcast tonight.
Hey, just remember, if you want witty banter with a southern drawl, come to Hero Power.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right.
Okay, so real quick before we move on to the deck, I actually had a really great conversation on Twitter, and I meant to put this in the show notes. And
Wing
didn't.
it. It's all right.
Yeah, so we're going to wing a section. It's actually with Not Rob from Velen's Chosen and Kick Tripod. And I totally just lost my train of thought.
Twitter.
Hold on a second. This is what happens when you work a full day and then you come to a podcast. Hold on a second. It's great, though. There we go. So it was about why do you think most players don't make it to rank 10 or above? And the choices were, what would it be deck choices, like the decks that they're playing, or would it be Dang it.
Pull it up.
Lack of commitment. That was actually what I put in for JG. Oh, come on. See, I kind of derailed it. They gave me 2 choices, and I put in a third. It's
So
what
basically,
I do.
the discussion was about why people don't go up the ladder.
Well, what different casual, like looking at it, different casual,
That
different
mid-rank.
definitions of casuals. Yeah.
Okay. Because I've always called myself casually competitive.
Mm-hmm.
I compete when I have the time, when I have the gumption, the energy. I mean, I have a full-time job. I have other gaming commitments. Hearthstone takes a majority of it, but I do have other games that I play. So I'm casually competitive. Whenever I do play, I try to compete. Now, and I don't push the ladder every single month. And this is the first time I've been Legend. What is it, season 24?
Yep.
But I've had Golden Heroes since season 2. So I play a lot. I just don't play enough to be able to be as competitive as I'd want to be.
Oh, it's killing me. I can't find the original post. Anyways, it was a great discussion. Going back and forth about, we ended up talking about ultimately why we think more players don't get above that rank 10 mark. And really, that's sort of the benchmark. You have the 25 to 20, then you got 20 to 15, and then I feel like 15 to 10, 10 to 5, 5 to legend. But a lot of players group 25 to 20, 20 to 10, and then 10 to legend. And you do kind of have to look at it from the perspective of is it really that you're that much better than you get that little message, you're in the top 25% of Hearthstone players, you're in the top 10% of Hearthstone players. Is that misleading? Are you really that much better than those players? Or like what I was saying was, I have so many other different things that pull my time away, and I play a lot in casual because I test out a lot of deck ideas. I've got almost 1,800 wins, but I don't have a golden hero yet. It's kind of one of those things where you're playing in casual mode too, a lot. But it's like, is it the deck
I found the
choices?
tweet.
So what was the original tweet?
So the original tweet was from Not Rob, and it
Yeah.
says, "Do you think the reason most players can't achieve rank 10 or higher is because of deck building / card choices, or how they play in each game?"
Yeah.
And your response was time to play,
Yeah.
to which Kick Tripod agreed.
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
Hitting rank 10 can be done in 50 to 60 games. So,
Yeah, but like I have days where I can play 10 to 12 games, like the time before the show when Tavern Brawl hits. I can usually get about 12 games in, and I usually devote that time to Tavern Brawl because I know we're going to be playing it on the show. And then at some point over the weekend, when we decide what deck that we're going to feature on the show, I at least try to spend 5 or 6 games playing that deck, so that when we drive the deck on the show, I at least can talk about situations that have come up with the deck before. So between those two, I mean, you're already looking at 20 games that I've played for the week, and that's just for this show. That's not counting, any ladder climbing that I do, dailies that I do, and then I'm a huge Heroes of the Storm fan, so I play a lot of Heroes. Overwatch is getting ready to come out. I work a 50-plus hour a week job, and I have a family, and I've got to sleep and eat somewhere in there.
Somewhere.
yeah.
So, my I guess my contribution to it was I don't feel like, I mean, it is a grind. Like you said last week, how many games you had to win, much less play, to get Legend.
I played at least 700 games in the month of March to get Legend. And I know that I was registered as having just over 500 wins.
Right, and that's on the ladder. So that's not counting games that you're playing against your friends, trying decks out. Like for the tournament, you're not going to necessarily want to practice on the ladder. If you're practicing for the tournament, you want to find somebody that you know is a decent Hearthstone player, and you want to be doing matches against them, practicing for the tournament.
Yeah,
so
get them to play meta that you think you're going to face.
Exactly, that's how you prepare
technique.
for a tournament. So, I mean, there's so many different things. And Kick Tripod brought up, well, you need to make a choice. Do I want to ladder up this month? Is my commitment to get above 10? And you have to focus on that commitment. Sometimes that's going to mean avoiding Tavern Brawl. Sometimes that's going to mean avoiding going into casual play. Sometimes it's going to mean, like last month, Zeroshio gave up a lot of Heroes of the Storm time to do the drive, his climb to legend. So,
yeah, I lost about 12 days worth of daily quests in Heroes of the Storm because I just didn't play. I didn't have time to play.
Right. And really, the point I guess that I'm bringing up here is don't get too upset if you're not breaking that rank 10 mark. If you're like me, or you're like Patrick, or I'm sorry, Avanti or Zeroshio, you've got so many other things going on that as a casual player, you're probably not going to be able to invest the time it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Because Blizzard wants to keep you at about a 50 to 55% win rate, if I'm not correct, right? That's what the MMR's supposed to do.
Standard MMR for any competitive game wants to try to keep win rates right around the 50% mark so that your actual skill at that point, and that's for game balancing. The balancing of the cards should set two average people same skill level about 50-50. Now, your individual skill will adjust that percentage or two depending. Now, there are some decks that will kind of be more of a 55 to 57% win rate without your adjustment of your individual skill. And that's just also based on the randomness of the cards.
Realize that the more games you win and the more time you play in Hearthstone, the more data the MMR has to draw from. It's also going to try and match you with players who not only have the same win percentage, but have the same number of games underneath their belt. So as you get better, the people that you play against get better as well.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because going up the ladder, and this isn't even in the Legend, because once I got Legend, I stopped playing. I played Fibonacci, Tides of Time, Dog, Tice. The name, that's just the top, I come off the top of my head. There was a lot that I saw that I know were on the top 100 Legend just about every season. So that tells me my MMRs must be pretty good, which is good because that means it validates that I'm as good as I hope I am. But also at the same time, it makes the road a little bit bumpier. It makes it a little rockier because obviously I'm playing that A League Hearthstone, and it's hard to ladder up when you're I hate to say that good because I don't think I'm that good, but when your MMR puts you against those kind of players.
And some chat rooms kind of bringing up a good point here. Newer players coming in, would they have the ambition to climb? Well, this is kind of a flip of the coin. I think it really depends on their card collection, but also it depends on what they're playing and how they're playing it. And when you're coming in, you're actually going to be matched up with newer players because the number of games played, it tries to match that first.
Yes.
Right. So you actually will have an easier time moving up the ladder as a newer player than you will if you have played for several years when it comes to MMR. Now, it's going to look for that first. If it can't find that, it's going to match you like how many games you've won in a row, and it's going to match that. So it has a time limit that it places on how long it takes to find you an opponent.
Now, to clarify, just to kind of go on, piggyback that MMR, I was playing in Arena yesterday, and I had somebody friend me afterwards, and he was like, my luck, you're the third person in a row I've played in Arena that has a Legend card back. Why am I being matched against Legends? And I let him know that I just got it, and I was playing with it because it's new, and that Arena, and it was confirmed by Ben Brode on Twitter. Arena does not use any form of MMR. They only match you up against people that are in the same bracket for you. There is no Arena MMR. So just to clarify, this MMR is just for ladder ranked play. It is not
Right.
for the MMRs, and I believe they have a form of MMR in casual as well, but it's not as dictated.
Yeah.
But there is no MMR in arena, and hopefully, I think we may have a listener because of that, because he seemed to really like the information I had for him, and he ended up doing better in his arena run than I ended up doing. So I was his second loss. He ended up going 4-2, and I went 2-2. So I'm not great at arena.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm not either. I think it's also, you got to take into account what's going on. Like, for instance, the last couple of months, I know people have been saving up daily gold. They've been saving up dust, getting ready for the new expansion to come out, because we didn't know a solid date of when it was coming out.
Sure.
And people have been saving for a while. I know there for a while I wasn't really doing my dailies in Hearthstone. I was letting it get filled up, and if I got to it, I got to it, but I played what I wanted to play. Since the announcement of Whispers of the Old Gods, I have been doing my dailies, making sure my dailies are knocked out at least once every 2 days, making sure that I get that gold, maximizing, my win so that I get the 10 extra gold, and trying to math. But the point is, I still don't have as much as Patrick, because I'm taking a different strategy so that at the end we can see which one works better. Patrick Avantes has been saving gold. I've been buying classic packs along the way, so that as it comes, as the changes come and these cards are changed, which they've said they will be making changes to some of the classic cards, I'm going to see if my dust allows me to craft the cards that I want versus trying to draw them randomly out of the packs. So it'll be two different ways to do the same thing. But anyways.
See, I'm keeping about 1,000 gold, but I've been doing a lot of arena, because that's getting me packs, which gets me dust. But I'm making sure I stay right around 1,000 gold, so I can at least get 10 packs addition.
Yeah.
To the 50 that I'm going to get, which mathematically that would give me 60 packs. That increases my rate, because once you get to 30 packs of a single type, it increases your legendary chance up to 75%, and of course it goes to 100% on your 40th pack.
I wanted to give a shout out to Kick Tripod and Not Rob for a great discussion. It lasted over the course of about an hour or so, but it was really fun to get to talk shop with other guys who are seeing the same things, but maybe coming at it from a different point of view. And I know that we had that on the show, but it was nice to get that from two other show hosts as well, and kind of get to see the different perspective. It was really great, and I enjoyed the discussion.
And to put my points on that specific topic, I can attest that it does take a bit of a grind. Now, when I first started my first day of spring break and I did a push, I was at rank 9. I went to from 9 to 3 in 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. So you can get those in if you play a high win rate and fast deck. So it really depends on what type of deck you're playing and your win rates too. So there's so many factors in there, and time is pretty much the only constant. If you don't have time, you won't get up there.
Talking about the deck that you're playing.
Yeah, well,
steering us back on the course.
One last thing. I encourage, if you're a brand new player, keep the goal of getting 20 and getting your card back. That's a great way to start.
Yes.
Ranks from that point on, they'll come.
Yeah, so let's talk about this week's deck. It's the mage deck recipe, Spells Unending. So if you've not seen this deck yet, it is pretty much a basic mage spell deck that's meant to drive your opponent down pretty quick and apply sustained damage and control the board all in one. So
I thought it was pretty similar to Tempo Mage.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Tempo Mage, or maybe even a little bit Casino Magey, because there's a lot of random attack stuff in here.
Kind of an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah, so this deck consists of 2 Arcane Blast, 2 Arcane Missile, 1 Mirror Image, 2 Mana Worm, 2 Frostbolt, 2 Loot Hoarder, 2 Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2 Arcane Intellect, 2 Flame Wakers, 1 Spell Slinger, 2 Fireballs, 2 Water Elementals, 2 Azure Drakes, 2 Ethereal Conjurers, 1 Grand Crusader, 1 Flame Strike, 1 Uncle Tony, as AC likes to call him, Archmage Antonidas, and 1 Ronin. So, yeah, Zero, you've been playing this deck a little, haven't you? Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, played a little bit. If you're used to playing Tempo Mage, you want to play as very similar. The big difference between kind of the meta Tempo Mages in there now and this is you have bigger spells, bigger, more expensive spells. So you're not really relying on your Flame Waker using a lot of small, lower cost spells to do a lot of damage. You're really looking at having big spells to clear the big minions, or go to face and have the Flame Wakers do their little damage, and eventually setting up for Archmage Antonidas to get you fireballs in your hand. The most important thing about this deck is tempo. Now, you have to make more value decisions instead of just willy-nilly throw spells out of your hands with this deck, but it pays off in the long run. Don't expect to be able to play this deck like the current Tempo Mage that's in the meta right now on Tempo Storm's website and win the game by like turn 7 with just a bunch of damage to the face from Flame Waker. Expect to go into the post 10 levels, post 10 turns, and kind of grind your opponent out. Most important thing is control that board. Make sure that board is nice and clear, so that your Flame Wakers can do the job, your extra spells from Spell Slinger can do the job, your Archmage can get some value out of spells. Make sure that your stuff stays on the board as long as possible.
Yep. All right. So let's now that we've seen it, let's move on. So at this point, if you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you're listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers, or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you can help to support and improve it by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
And speaking of that real quick, I did want to remind our listeners, if you're here for the play portion, we do have a special event going on with Viforce Gaming. They're introducing a new computer. It's called the Viforce Element. It's an entry-level gaming computer. It's going to start at $450. For the next 4 weeks, if you go through our website, HeroPowerHS.com, click on the Viforce Gaming site, and go and purchase either the Element, the Vector, the Momentum, or the Impulse, you will get money off. That's right. You're going to save some money. So $25 off the Element, $35 off the Vector, $50 off the Momentum or the Impulse, and all you have to do is type "Use my hero power" in the notes section. If you're going to get the Element, it's not on the website yet, so you do have to put a custom order in and ask for the Element. But yeah, $450, great entry-level computer. You can email us for more information, or you can email the folks at Viforce, and they'll be able to hook you up.
Yeah, they have wonderful customer service. They'll walk you through every step. They're just awesome guys. They really are.
All right. Zero, you ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
Versiki, you ready?
I'm ready. By the way, I've got to get you guys to help me set up that mute button for my Skype. Sorry about the sneeze earlier.
Hey, they catch us every now and then. It's the pollen. It's the season. My wife's going through the allergies right now.
I had the mouse button over the mute, but couldn't quite get it pressed before it went off.
All right.
All right.
So what are we looking for in our opening hand / mulligan here?
Well, we want those early spells to kind of protect us. Obviously, Mana Worms with any spells is a good opener. Mirror Image is a good opener. You want those loot hoarders. Having a Flame Waker in opening hand's nice. It's not nice if you don't have the coin. We have Flame Waker, Frostbolt, and Spell Slinger. I would probably just ditch the Flamewaker. I like keeping the Spell Slinger because turn 3 it's really good tempo. A lot of times you'll get spells that are right about that 4 mana cost or 2 mana cost. It goes with your hero power going in turn 4. So what do y'all think?
I would pitch the Flamewaker and the Frostbolt and keep the Spellslinger.
Oh, you get rid of Frostbolt too? Okay.
It's a druid. I want to keep him. I want to keep
Yeah.
Frostbolt for a little bit later.
That's true. We didn't mention that. It is druid. Against druid, it's not as important. Against some of the other classes, you want to have that possibly for like a knife juggler. We drew into an arcane blast and sorcerer's apprentice. Probably just going to go ahead and pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still a fairly nice curve, though.
Oh yeah. And we also got that arcane intellect for the draw. That's what we drew into. All right.
And so he couldn't coin into wild growth. That's good.
That allows us to possibly get tempo.
Yeah.
I would really like to get value out of Sorcerer's Apprentice. What do you think about just Hero Power Face right here? Because we drew into a Fireball.
Yeah, because next turn if we...
Because we'll probably Wrath that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Hero Power Face here is fun.
Because Spell Slinger will give us another spell that we could possibly couple with the Sorcerer's Apprentice on turn 4.
And that'll give us a body.
Yep. And he's Hero Powering as well.
Yeah,
And
so
no-
he's probably combo druid and just hasn't drawn the
Or
early
mid-range.
game combo stuff.
Or mid-range. So Spell Slinger here, we drew in a Frostbolt.
Yeah, I say Spellslinger here.
The Spell Slinger on empty board isn't too bad. Against Druid, I don't mind giving him stuff.
We got a commanding shout. Interesting.
That is interesting. It may be interesting with that we can actually help that with tempo, so we can use our minions to trade and have a spell. So with Flamewaker, that may actually be good because we could use the Flamewaker to trade but not kill him.
And he just played a piloted shredder, so our 3/4 Spellslinger actually trades really well with that.
Okay. So
And I would actually trade and put down the water elemental.
let's trade and see what pops out first. See if we may be able to. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I'd play the water elemental. Yeah.
You got a Nerubian egg, and obviously we're not going to just pop that. Because I was thinking if they dropped anything else with 2 health, we could possibly go into Sorcerer's Apprentice, into Arcane Blast. But having those spells is nice. Having the spells will be good for when we get to Flame. Wow, another piloted shredder. Flamewaker.
So now Flamewaker's a little dangerous because it could pop the egg when we're not ready for it.
That's true.
But it only gives us, I mean, that would really pop the egg a little early. And we
Yeah.
do have the fireball in hand.
Do we go ahead and just kill this other piloted shredder just to see what pops out
Yeah, I would use the water elemental.
with the water elemental? Okay.
And I'd hero power the...
Hero power, what popped out, which is the 2/1
Murloc.
Bluegill warrior. Do you want to just go ahead and Arcane Intellect?
Yeah, because if you put the Flamewaker on the board now, I think he's going to get tremendous value out of a swipe, and we want to
think
make
so.
that decision hard for him.
Okay, so Arcane Intellect. We drew into an Azure Drake and another water elemental. That's pretty good. We have 8 cards in our hand. He has 8. We're not doing too bad. All right. He's thinking.
And we've been through both of his piloted shredders now. So.
We have. Okay, Keeper of the Grove. I like seeing that because Keeper of the Grove is a good way to get rid of Sorcerer's Apprentice. Ooh.
I'm willing to bet that he's probably got another one in his hand.
Probably does to throw it out that early.
I would say this would be a great turn.
Tempo Azure Drake?
I think Drake.
Okay.
And
Now,
then
if we Drake,
I'm almost tempted to throw out the Mana Worm as bait.
well, we can Arcane Blast that Keeper if we want.
We could, and it would kill it.
And it would kill it because it has a double spell damage.
Okay. I'm
You
okay
like
with
that?
that play. I'm okay with that play.
I mean, it'd be good to keep it for the Nerubian, but at the same time, we have plenty of burn in our hand for the Nerubian. Now that makes him have to do some work to get rid of that Azure Drake or burn a swipe. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Good fireball target.
This is where I think we can go a little crazy with our flame. We can throw out Flame Waker and Sorcerer's Apprentice and start going a little crazy with our spells. What do you think?
I'm okay with that.
Okay, because we got a second Flame Waker in our hand. So
Yep.
Flame Waker, Sorcerer's Apprentice. And then how are we going to start this?
I think I would start it with. We know we want to get rid of that. We know we want to get rid of that bear.
Do we Commanding Shout and go ahead and run in the Azure Drake to take 4 damage off of it?
Yeah.
And see where those shots land? Okay, Commanding Shout. That's not bad.
Nope.
So go ahead and run it in.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to... Do we go ahead and Frostbolt it to finish it off? Because I can't Hero Power.
Yeah, I would Frostbolt it.
So Frostbolt.
Yeah.
And then see if it pops that egg. It doesn't. That's good. So we'll go ahead and pass. If it popped the egg, I was going to Arcane Blast the Nerubian egg.
Yeah.
Right.
The Nerubian.
And that's why you Frostbolt instead of using the Arcane Blast on
Exactly. I mean,
Well, I mean,
either way,
Arcane
it's 4 damage,
is-
to be
would
honest.
have done 4 damage.
There's that value swap.
And it's actually not... That's pretty good for him, but it's actually not bad for us.
We kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, we knew the swipe had to be coming.
So,
What do you think about the Grand Crusader and just Hero Power to face?
I think that's a good play.
Keep the tempo going. He hasn't really been able to do any damage to us. See what we get out of this. Maybe we'll get a Shielded Mini Bot. Oh, that's not bad. True Silver,
So
True Silver Champion. No, we'll Hero Power face. I want him to get some... We want to get some value on the board for our clears. And if you'll notice, we only have 1 Flame Strike in this deck. And a lot of that's so you can get some more spell value out of things like Spellslinger, Grand Crusader. There's been some cuts out of here for some of those bigger cards. That is a great Fireball target.
Okay, so he went Ancient of Lore, drew 2 cards, and now he's Living Roots, and he's going to put 2 on the... He's gearing up for a Savage Roar.
Yep, and we just drew into a Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay, so I think here we Flame Waker, Sorcerer's Apprentice, and
Okay.
start.
Maybe Sorcerer's Apprentice, and then do we Fireball the 5/5? Or do we run the dude into it?
I would...
And actually, we probably Mana Worm first, and then
Yeah.
Fireball.
Mana
So
Worm,
Mana Worm,
Fireball.
and then Fireball the 5/5.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See where everything lands, because we may be able to trade the Nerubian with the Grand Crusader. That's good. Let's go ahead and just... You want to Arcane Blast the 4/4?
Actually, I'm really good with that.
Okay. See where those land, and then we'll Arcane
Magic
Missile.
Missile as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then see where we go.
And I would just go ahead and face.
Face.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, that cleared it.
Excellent.
And a tip you can use when you're running the rope is, if the animations haven't finished, you can take your minion that you're going to attack with and hover over and see if any of the opponent's minions light up. If they don't light up, that means they're dead.
But
I mean-
yeah, and the effect just hasn't caught up to them
Yep.
yet.
So that's a way that some of the players like Life Coach manage the rope so well, because they can use those little tools. And I also learned something that a lot of people have heard, these Dormu tricks where they rope you out. On your turn, if you cast anything, you can click on the card, it'll kill the animation immediately. You can only do that on your turn. If it's their turn, it'll get rid of it, but the animation will still finish. Ooh, he's having a hard time deciding. He's wondering if he wants to blow combo now or not. Yep, there we go.
Going to.
Well, the 5/5 makes it really difficult for him to want to blow combo, because he's probably going to have to... Ooh, he's only
gonna
using
use it to
half of it.
clear.
Yeah, he's
Well, but he can't clear everything with it. He's going to have to leave a
he's
lot
going to
of
clear
damage.
the worm.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It's a smart play, but it did put him at a disadvantage.
Hang on.
We have lethal.
Doesn't say do
Yes.
some math. I think
If
we
we
got it.
If we true silver champion and hero
Yep.
power face, we got lethal.
Yeah.
Right.
And against Druid, and he conceded. Against Druid, the important thing is to make sure he doesn't have time to get damage to your face. The reason the Force Nature Savage Roar combo is so impactful is because they're able to get that early damage to you to get you low enough. If you can keep them, if you make them have to trade, then they're not going to be in a position turn 9 to do the damage to you.
Yeah.
So let's go into game 2.
Plus, I mean, a mage with a sword. You don't know what a mage doesn't know how to use a sword. You don't know what's going to happen. I'd concede too.
That's right.
Spell swords.
Druid's my jam. I'm really good against Druid because I'm really good with Druid. Oh, Pikachu. Oh.
Pikachu, I choose you.
So we have the coin. So Flamewaker can get a little bit more value.
Yeah.
Do we ditch everything but Flamewaker?
I'm thinking everything but Flamewaker. Because we're
Because
not
if-
going to draw into Flame Strike. That's sort of why you got to worry about drawing into Flame Strike when you're throwing stuff back, because it's such a late game card.
Yeah.
With it, if it's in your opening hand, you always pitch it back. That way you're guaranteed not to get it.
Yeah.
Azure Drake, yeah, you can make an argument for keeping. Oh,
So we
Two
drew
Flame
our other Flame Waker, Water Elemental, and Loot Hoarder.
Which probably won't be bad because Flamewaker is going to be a priority. Obviously, we want the coin for the Flamewaker
right.
on turn 3.
We'll pass turn 1. So we
And
have
this is-
2 Flame Wakers, Water Elemental, Loot Hoarder, and we drew an Azure Drake. And of course, we got the coin.
And we're probably
Against
in a
another
mirror
tempo.
match.
And I think here,
If we drop the Loot Hoarder, it'll make him use his hero power, or he'll
that buys us a value turn.
yes,
Yeah.
or we can Arcane Blast it now.
I think I'm good with putting the Loot Hoarder out and hoping that we get to trade into that Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I don't think we're going to. I think he's going to get rid of it.
I do too.
But we may be
We
able
might
to
get
draw into
lucky.
like another Arcane Blast.
He very well could play a Flame Waker and hope for a 0 casting cost. Nope, he's going to Arcane Intellect.
Oh,
Yeah.
which means he's not going to hero power that.
No.
He's going to mirror image it. Okay. So, this puts us in a unique spot because we can Flame Waker, coin, and then Arcane Blast the 3/2 if it's still alive.
Yes.
I think that's exactly what we do.
Yep, I agree.
And that gets us early pressure.
First things first, we clear with the Loot Hoarder.
Okay.
Clear one of the O2s, the Loot Hoarder.
That gives us less,
Less targets for
a
flame.
higher chance to go ahead and kill that way. Okay. So we go ahead and Arcane Blast the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I think so.
That's not terrible.
Nope.
I mean, it went both Flame Striker strikes to face, but that 0/1 is not going to get buffed
Oh,
up,
and there's a
And it threw a
Fireball.
fireball.
which is great. You want to draw those fireballs early.
So now, the question that you want to go here is, do you want to save your Flame Waker for later on? And I say we probably do.
Mhm.
And I think that right now the Water Elemental is a threat that only a fireball gets rid of.
Yes, and he's already
And
used
it's
one.
super annoying. He's already used one. I think at the very least it draws a polymorph.
Yes, if they're running Polymorph, which most of them are running 1, and then we
Right.
traded the Loot Hoarder into the 0/1.
So now we have
What's
5
really-
consistent damage on the board.
What's really important is it is hard to
And
find
there's the
time to
second
put
fire.
out the Water Elemental because you're trying to get that tempo.
Yep.
So whenever you got an opening to put the watermelon, the Water Elemental out, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ooh,
we're on
got
turn
him.
5. I think here we do the tempo Azure Drake play.
Because
That way-
we've drawn out 2 fireballs.
2 fireballs and an arcane missile.
Yep.
We just drew into our fireball, one of them.
And there's a secret.
Okay, now I'm willing to bet that secret is a counter spell.
Yes.
So I think on this turn, I think we go ahead and Arcane Intellect.
To see if we can pop that.
Yep.
Oh, it's not.
And that's good for us.
So-
Because now,
Do we want a mana worm to see if that's a mirror image and then be able to kill it with our Estradric?
that's exactly what I was going to suggest. We want to. The other one that they tend to run with this is Mirror Entity, which it is. So now that Mirror
Right.
Entity is a 1/3. We run our 4/4 into it, and we
Hero
hero
power
power
face?
to his face.
Okay. And the reason we didn't use any of our spells to take out that mana worm is because Estradric's kind of done his job. Oh, that's actually great.
Yeah. So now we get the chance to use our Fireball straight into Dr. Boom's face because he dropped a Dr.
Okay,
Boom.
but how do we want to go ahead and run our guys to face and then Flame Waker and then Fireball?
I think so.
Okay. Because I know
But-
we don't get the extra damage from the Fireball for the
For the
worm.
mana
It may
work,
get
but
killed.
that's okay. Yeah.
It may get killed. Flame Waker, fireballing the Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom.
Mhm.
Since
And
we
the
have the extra
shots-
spell damage.
We like them to hit the boom bots and them go to face, but that's fine. 1 damage to our Azure Drake, that is great value.
Yeah.
Now he still has another boom bot to he gets to dictate what that runs into. Oh, and now he puts
plays
out
a
a flame.
Waker of his own.
I think he's running behind though now. That could be counterspell as well.
Yeah. So now it's
Wow,
Flame
our
Waker
fi-
on Flame Waker.
Our Flame Waker is still alive.
Gotta love that hot Flame Waker on Flame Waker action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think here we Spell Slinger, see what we get.
Now we're risking copying with Mirror Entity again. Is that okay?
I think that's okay.
Because we have a Frostbolt.
Nope. Oh, it
Yeah.
was. Just
That's
It
what
is
it
Mirror
was.
Entity. Okay.
And we got an upgrade, so that gives us a 1/3
It
weapon.
does, and it's
Yeah.
a 1 mana spell. Do we go ahead and Frostbolt his Flame Waker?
I think so.
Because even though it's a 2/4 and the Spell Singer's a 3/4, the Flame Waker is a higher priority because of his ability.
And we nailed that. So now I say we Arcane Blast the Spell Slinger.
Okay.
See where that goes.
All right. Now, what about go ahead and use?
Isn't
do
that
we
a
want to hero power
3/1
that,
now? Hero power it.
or do we want to upgrade and run into it?
I think we hero power it.
Okay.
Yeah, just hero power it down.
And
Because
then
the
go to
upgrade
face
can
with
be
the Flame
used
Waker.
for Antonitis.
That's
fodder.
what I'm thinking.
Okay.
We have Antonitis in hand. He's used both of his fireballs. He's probably not running Polymorph. I say next turn is probably an Antonitis turn with
And
an
see,
upgrade.
at this point of the game, you want to be throwing out lower cost minions and spells to get the tempo. He's being forced to cast minions and spells that are 6 and 7 mana,
to clear our
so
stuff.
it doesn't give him any tempo at all. That's an easy trade there.
Yep. So we trade that Spell Slinger into his Ethereal Conjurer.
Okay, now what? Because we could Antonitis into an upgrade and get a fireball.
I think we probably Ethereal. See what we get out of the Ethereal.
Okay, Ethereal Conjurer.
Since it's an empty board.
Ooh.
And I think we take the Arcane Missiles.
So we have Vaporize, Arcane Missiles, and Blizzard. Because we have Antonitis, Arcane Missiles is the best. Yeah, I like
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now we just hero power him to the face, and then next turn we start
Yeah.
laying the smack down.
With
See, now we have
fireballs.
2 1-cost spells that'll give us fireballs.
Yep.
Right. And that puts him on a clock because he's tempo mage, so he's not running ice block.
Yes.
He still has a 6/3 on the board that he has to clear that we're going to send to his face next turn because he used all of his damage spells to eliminate our threats on the board.
It's true. Ooh.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Drew in
Yeah.
his- okay. So we're going to run the 6/3 to his face.
Yep.
We're going to
Antonitis.
Antonitis and Sorcerer's Apprentice, right?
Yes. Antonitis, Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Sorcerer's Apprentice. Do we Arcane Missiles first to
Yes.
possibly draw out the counter spell to
Yep.
be used for the upgrade?
Yep.
Okay, didn't pop anything with the face, so now we do the upgrade.
Yep.
And then we go to face, or do we pop the? What do we do here?
I would go. They're going to concede. I was
He's
going to say,
gonna
I would
concede.
actually, I would pop the Med Scientist in this case so that next turn I can Flame Strike into that counter spell.
Okay.
I
Okay.
just wanna
Because that
point
still
out-
gives us the Fireball.
I just want to point out that's 2 concedes to mages with weapons.
That's
They're
right.
scary, folks. They're scary.
No, hey, what's worse is seeing Anduin with a weapon. When a priest picks up a weapon, that's when you gotta worry.
But what's great is when you're running the ladder and you've teched in Harrison Jones because you're seeing all these warriors and paladins, and then lo and behold, there he gets a 1/4 weapon. You're just like, oh, Harrison gets value.
Yeah. Yeah. When I'm playing a priest, I never just dump my Harrison, because you never know what shenanigans they're gonna pull.
Yeah.
So we've got the coin here. We've got Arcane Intellect, Flame Strike, Arcane Blast, and Arcane Missiles.
I would say probably throw back Arcane. I don't know.
I think you throw back the Flame,
Flame
Strike
Strike.
and the Arcane Blast and keep the Intellect and the Missiles. But
Yeah, and hope we draw into a flame strike.
because we've got the coin, if we don't like what we get, we can always coin into Intellect on turn
Yeah.
2.
That's my thought too. Oh,
That's what
This
you run
is-
the risk of doing.
this is nasty. I
We're
would
in a
love to
bad-
get out in one flame waker.
We're in a bad spot now.
We are. We're probably gonna have to coin into arcane intellect. Turn 2 is just nothing you want to do.
So opponent played a Mad Scientist on turn 2.
Do we still coin into arcane intellect? We drew into mana worm, but that's not really going to give us much. We could mana worm into arcane missiles, and that'll threaten the
No,
mad scientist.
that's the exact same thing that got our opponent last game into trouble.
Yes, it's true.
I think that's a bad play. Right now, I say we go ahead and coin into Arcane Intellect and see if we can't get some early threat.
And at this point, we're looking for answers, and the Sorcerer's Apprentice and the Frostbolt are definitely going to help.
Yeah.
And as is usually the case, Mad at Arms has come up with this week's show title:
Uh-oh.
Mages with Weapons.
Mages with weapons.
And the reason
We need
the
to
reason
put
why
you
you
on
don't
payroll.
coin missiles there is because you know you've got Flame Wakers coming. A Freeze Mage isn't going to necessarily play a Mad Scientist right off the bat. They want to get the most value out of those secrets.
Yeah.
So they probably won't turn to Mad Scientist
What do we do here?
because they want to draw that game out. I think
This looks horrible. I mean, we can Sorcerer's Apprentice into a Frostbolt on the Flame Waker and then Arcane Missile. That's a lot of lost value.
the Mana Worms are a distraction, I feel like, in this deck. They're there to bait out removal.
So put
I
him
would
out.
almost throw the Mana Worm and then Frostbolt the Flame Waker.
Frostbolt the Flame Waker?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not going to kill it.
No, but we can hero power it next turn.
Yeah.
He'll get a turn of value out of it.
Oh,
Double
my
Unless he
goodness.
puts down a second one
Mirror Image.
and Mirror Image.
Okay, that's
And we just took 4 to the face.
Yeah.
not a terrible outcome. But we're still in a really bad spot.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that that secret is a mirror entity. I don't think it's a counter spell. I think he was looking for early turn minions to pair.
So do we...
I think we still have to test for it.
So what do we do? Throw out the Sorcerer's Apprentice?
No, because we would rather have the Arcane Missiles counterspelled than the Sorcerer's Apprentice copied with 2 Flame Wakers on the board for him.
So Arcane Missile first.
Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hero power that Flame Waker before we forget about it.
Okay.
That may be a duplicate.
And then Arcane Missile?
Probably not, but yeah. And then I would Arcane Missile to make sure that it's a counter spell.
It is.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's... And most of these tempo mages run one counterspell.
Right.
I've not ran into 2 counterspells in a very long time.
Matt at Arms
That-
in chat says some of the new mage cards they've just announced would be great in this deck.
Yeah, yeah, they would. But you have some that are going to be going out. So, well, not in this deck because
Right.
this is set for standard, but out of normal tempo mage. This is bad, folks. Azure Drake.
Do we want to maybe go for the ethereal and see if maybe we get a 6 mana blizzard for next turn?
We don't have Blizzard in this deck.
No,
No,
the
Ethereal
Ethereal
Conjurer.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
The only other option is an as a tempo as your Drake play, or putting out Water Elemental while we know he doesn't have a mirror entity. Because that's the only way we're really going to regain board control is with those Water Elementals.
Yeah, but Water
if we don't
Elemental,
pull-
if he has a Fireball, that's just
Right.
that'll seal the game.
So I think the Ethereal Conjurer is the better play here.
Okay.
And if it's any type of AoE, I say we take it.
And it's not.
Mirror Image.
I think, yeah, I think it has to be.
Yeah, because sorry, there was a snap pick because the rope was going down.
Yeah.
Because that's going to give us bodies on the board to soak up Flamewaker damage, and see, he had the Fireball for the Water Elemental.
And
that's
there's the mirror entity.
I think this is a lost cause. We'll play it out.
Yeah.
We didn't get any Flamewakers.
Nope.
What do you guys think?
I think pretty much here we're gonna have to. We know we're gonna have to play a minion.
Well,
we know what he's got.
we
We know
know-
that's a mirror entity. So I say we play the Sorcerer's Apprentice,
Okay.
so that we at least get. There's the mirror entity.
So he has 2 Sorcerer's Apprentices now.
Yeah, and I say we probably go ahead and fireball the Flamewaker.
And well, we probably should have Mana Worm first,
Yeah.
and then Mirror Entity, huh?
Go ahead and Mana Worm and
Yeah.
mirror
And fire,
image.
yeah.
Yeah, should have done the Mana Worm before the Fireball. That
It's
was
not
my-
going to matter. It's going to die to one
Yeah.
of the Sorcerer's
Joey
Apprentice.
in chat said it was just bad RNG.
Yeah, we did have some bad RNG, which 2 good games
Yep.
out of 3. I'll take that all day long on the ladder.
Oh yeah.
And as you can notice, I am playing with my luxurious legendary card back. Sorry, just had to throw that in there.
No board clear. Gives us a-
yeah.
No
no
spells
spells.
to activate
spells.
Flamewaker.
We almost have to Azure Drake to draw
Something.
anything.
Yeah. That does not help us.
No, we're dead on board. So
Yeah.
you want to let him kill us or go ahead and concede?
No, let
I
him
don't-
kill us.
I don't concede.
Go ahead and run those in, kill his O2s.
You never know. He could disconnect.
With the
That
BM.
works too.
I'm helping him.
Hey,
I'm helping him out.
Hey, there are times in Freeze Mage where that is desirable.
It's true.
To
We've seen
fire
that.
blast
Was
your
it
face.
Amnesiac?
No, it was Chest Dude.
Just dude. That's right.
Rolf Bam Shield.
Yeah.
Why? And that was created by Unstable Portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what you say? Wait, what? Rolf Bamshield?
Isn't that his name?
Bolf Ramshield.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's got a little bit of that Versika dyslexia
My
going on.
dyslexia.
He's wanting us to concede.
Yeah, I'm not going to concede.
No.
Oh, he's being a jerk. I'm giving you the pleasure of killing me.
It's all right. Just wait until the rope burns out.
Yep.
Because then we're gonna cast, if we get another turn, we're going to cast that Spell Slinger and clear his board with whatever we get.
Yeah, nope.
I think it would be great at this point to get a Flame Strike.
See, he's just BMing.
Yeah.
See, he probably thought it was both Rolf Bamshield too, because his name is Dane Bramage.
All right, well.
That was pretty good. I mean,
yeah, I would have loved it if he had DC'd there.
Here's my thing. These deck builder decks, these recipe decks, Blizzard has put those in to kind of give us a start. And us seasoned players are like, these aren't really great decks. I wouldn't play them on the ladder. Well, we're proving that they can be played on the ladder.
Absolutely.
And they can get you wins at, that mid ranks, maybe even top ranks. I mean, they're decent decks. Obviously, put your own spin on it. Take a couple cards out, put a few things in. I'd probably put an Emperor Thorus on if you have the card. But this is a great start to build a deck without having to go net deck.
When this first came out, I don't have Ronin. So when it first came out, I traded out the Grand Crusader and Ronin for Blizzard. And then I dropped the Spell Slinger and added Acolyte of Pain so that I could force myself to draw more by using my hero power. Because this deck does have a tendency to draw dead, which you kind of saw in that last game. It's got a lot of your minions are heavy-ended, and your early minions, if you don't draw quickly, you can find yourself behind. Yeah, just showing off. Monty's just showing off.
No, I'm doing the same thing. My OCD chick said that 50 underneath the card pack started me nuts.
Yeah, it does.
Here's my argument. Here's my argument against the Acolyte of Pain. Obviously, late game Acolyte of Pain, you can throw him out, ping it. You're guaranteed 2 cards. But if you get him on turn 3, you are likely only going to draw 1 card. Spell Slinger gives you 1 card. And a 3/4 body. So it's a spider tank with the same draw value as. Now you're not getting it from your deck, so you can't predict what you're going to get, but you're going to get a spell.
And to counterpoint that, I appreciate where you're going with that, but with the amount of aggro that's on the board or in the ladder right now, I don't want to be giving aggro decks more spells.
True.
Which is why the 1/3 body trades with the leopard gnomes. It trades well with some of those early minions and allows me to draw at the same time. It's basically I want a 3rd loot hoarder. In a sense.
Gotcha. Now that brings up a good point. Obviously, my argument is more of just for the core base play of the deck. If you're on the ladder, and I had to do this to get legend, I had trouble when I got to rank 1, and I was running aggro paladin, and I had one consecrate in there to kind of counter that aggro. Well, I was seeing so much aggro that I went ahead and threw in a 2nd consecrate to counter that, and I went 7-1 and got legend. So being able to have the skill of identifying what you need on the fly based on what meta you're playing against at that moment can decide whether you're rank 5 instead of rank 10 or legend instead of rank 5. It can really dictate where you can go, and that's a skill you just adapt over time.
And a couple of points being brought up in the chat room before we go. Flame Strike. Yeah, there's only 1 in the deck. Until you know what kind of mage you're going up against, you don't know whether that's going to be something that you're going to use or whether it's going to be something that sits in your hand kind of dead. If that had been a freeze mage or if that had been some kind of casino mage, we probably wouldn't have used that on turn 7. We have a better chance of drawing into it because of the loot hoarders and because of the arcane intellects. So there is a little bit of risk reward there, but you know that at a 7 cost, that's going to sit in your hand dead for 7 turns, which is why I tend to ditch that early.
Yeah.
I actually, like I said, I put blizzards in the deck, and someone else brought up that Acolyte is anti-tempo, and yes, it is anti-tempo. You typically see Acolyte in freeze mage control style decks. Like I was telling Zeroshio, in the aggro meta that's going on right now, because I don't necessarily want to send in a mana worm, and because I get so much value out of Sorcerer's Apprentice, the Acolyte of Pain allows me to draw a card and usually clear an early minion without giving my opponent the benefit of something else. And yes, I could use something like a Harvest Golem, or there's all kinds of different things that you could put in there, but I feel like this deck, because of its tendency to draw dead, needs the draw mechanic to help keep things moving along, which is why I recommended the Acolyte.
All right.
And I would have thrown back the intellect too. My initial thought on that was to probably only keep the Arcane Blast and throw everything else back for an early game Sorcerer's Apprentice. But there was value in what Zeroshio said as well, as far as, you know, wanting to try and get those early game minions. And we ended up in the exact same spot that we were trying to avoid, and that's we didn't want to be dead on the board for those first 4 turns. And really, in today's ladder, you can't afford to be dead on 4 draws.
No, you can't.
And once again, to talk about Spell Slinger, I don't like Spell Slinger because I'm giving my opponent a spell. I don't want to be giving my opponent any more help than I have to. So, and that's a personal preference. It's a play style preference.
And one thing I like to hammer home, and this is the same every week. We are a guide. We all have different experiences on different areas of the ladder. By no means are we pro players. We just hope that anything we do, you can take that as a guide and help to better your plays. And we love when our listeners tell us, you know, I would have done this, because sometimes we realize, yeah, we should have done that, or that was a misplay, or even it's a different way to do it based on the deck, because there's been times that we haven't identified what we're playing against, but our chat room is clearly on top of it.
Oh yeah.
And that's just a different perspective. And that's one thing we hope from our show, Hero Power, that we do, is we help the community become better at Hearthstone, and not just in the competitive sense, but so you can enjoy the game more. Mm-hmm. Whether that be you take these skills into Arena, or you take them into Tavern Brawl, or just casual games with your friends, or on the ladder. We hope that we're giving good information that you can use to better your play and have more fun and keep wanting to play this game every day.
Yeah. All right, guys. Last thoughts on any topic. Zeroshio, go.
We have the Tavern Hero this Saturday. Come out there, unless you're better than me. No, anybody come out there. Let's fill some seats. Let's get somebody around this local area qualified for the spring prelims that come up here in May. And don't forget to use your hero power.
Rasika.
If you are not following us on some form of social media,
you're wrong.
I'm not saying you should. I'm saying that there is a possibility that you might miss something big.
Yes.
Coming up if you are not following us. So find our Twitter handles on the website. Be a patron. Get into our Facebook group. Watch the show next week.
Any announcements we have coming up will be first revealed through our Patreon Facebook group. Right. And then once we have more information and we can disseminate that, it will be
it's so hard. I want to talk about it.
It will be teased via Twitter, and obviously we'll be talking about it on future shows. We do have news.
Yes. Yes, we have news. It's exciting news.
Huge news.
But there is a small, very small chance that there's a wrinkle that we can't get past. So we don't want to say anything until we make sure that we have that wrinkle ironed out.
Yeah.
Which we hope to have that wrinkle ironed out by Friday.
Yep.
So for our patrons, keep an eye on the Facebook group. Sometime Friday, we will likely at least tease what couldn't happen if it falls through.
Yeah.
And nobody else will probably hear about it at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find out one way or the other. It'll just be whether or not it's a good news or whether or not it's like an awe almost.
Yeah. So.
But I am very confident that this is going to happen. And
good vibes.
Everybody else will be blown away when they find out. So
yeah. All right, guys, that'll do it for us for this week. As always, if you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor and please hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you've not done so, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted as to when we go live. Also, remember to check out our Patreon, because once we've hit our first milestone, we will start being able to give back to you guys in the form of a $20 prize monthly to one lucky patron. For more details on that, check out patreon.com/heropower. And as always, guys, good gaming.
Just to kind of add on to that, we're not going to add more patron goals until we hit the first patron goal.
Yes, we do have ideas. And for our patrons, we're probably going to do a poll. We really do appreciate you. We're probably going to do a poll here shortly. I was thinking about today, asking what do you want. So hopefully we will get some input from you guys, and more information on that coming on our Patreon Facebook group. But get us iTunes reviews. Snag your grandma's phone and subscribe to our podcast, and send a review from her phone, your wife's phone, your kids' phones. They won't care. Just
we're shameless.
Get us reviews.
We don't care. It's true. Plug it away. We're shamelessly plugging away.
It's true. Shameless.
All right, Patrick, take us out.
All right, guys. We'll see you all next week. Good gaming.
See y'all.